Hi guys, previous classes or previous sessions we were discussing about some problems on DFA and last session which was on NFA introduction. Hope you are aware of NFA, what is NFA, what is the drawback of NFA and how flexible NFA is. Already we have understood all those things. Today's class or today's session we just talk about how do I convert NFA to DFA. As specified in the previous video, there are two methods or two ways to convert from NFA to DFA. One is a lazy evaluation method. The other is a subset construction method. This session we talk about lazy evaluation method. So let's understand that. So this is how the question would look like. Convert the following NFA to its equivalent DFA using lazy evaluation method. And it says list out the strings accepted by resultant DFA. So clear, please understand the question properly. It says there is an NFA given here. Anyhow, I have downloaded this diagram from the internet itself. Convert the following NFA to its equivalent DFA using lazy evaluation method. Let's see how does it work. Whether it is lazy evaluation or subset construction, whenever we convert NFA to DFA, first thing is you should remember we should start from start state. So the steps would go somewhat like this. First step is to find the initial state, then start mapping the states with the input symbols. Repeat the process until there are no new states. Please observe there are no new states. Then find the final state, then write the diagram for that. So by checking the transitions, you can write the diagram. It's somewhat the reverse way what we did for DFA. Normally what we were writing a diagram, then we were writing a transitions. Now we write the transitions first by checking the NFA, then with the transitions available, we write the diagram. So diagram is the ultimate answer what we wanted. Moving on. Now check it, observe the NFA properly. There are 4 states, Q0, Q1, Q2 and Q3, where you can see the transitions. Q0 with 0 you have 2 states, Q0 with 1 you have only 1 state. Similarly Q0 with 0 you have 2 transitions, Q0 with 1 you have 2 transitions. There are no transitions for Q3 at all. So this is a perfect example for NFA, that much I can tell you. So now what is the first step? As I said, first step is to find the start state of DFA. Yes, we find it. How? We denote it like this. D indicates DFA, N indicates NFA. So Q0 D, start state for DFA will be same as start state of NFA. No change with that part. That is done. So now it is Q0 itself with the start state. Next step is to map this input symbol, mean to say whatever input symbols we have to the state, repeat it until no more new states. Let's see how do I do it. Now, how do I do this? It's pretty simple, pretty easy to manage. No need to scratch at it so much. Just follow, listen. No need to get tensed. Now, the step two is focusing on mapping the transitions. So that's what I'm trying to do it here. Anyhow, step 2 I specified it there. I just write it delta D of Q0 with 0. That is the input symbol, isn't it? So now before that I can still make much more clearer. I can say we are working on the state Q0 initially. Fine. So Q0. Now check what is Q0 with 0 in the NFA. It is Q0 Q1. So it is a combined separate state in NFA, but it is a combined state in DFA. We just try to combine it. Okay, anyhow, I just copy paste the same thing again. So delta D Q0 with 0 would be delta N. I need to check Q0 with 0. What is Q0 with 0? It is Q0 with 0. It is Q0 and Q1. So I could write it as Q0 Q1 directly. No need to again specify it. We will take it in the next step. Now write it for next one. Delta D of Q0 with 1. What is Q0 with 1? Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2. Hope that's clear. Q0, Q2. Now observe these two are new states. At the statement it says map the input symbol to the state, repeat it until no more new states. So there are no, since we got the new states, we need to continue further. So just I mark it as I make X mark so that to make it as the new state for our understanding purpose, nothing other than that. So now we just go for next. What is the next state we should take care? It is state Q0, Q1, isn't it? So now we should worry about state Q0, Q1. Remember Q0, Q1 with respect to DFA, it is one single state. We need to work with that particular perspective. So it is delta D of Q0, Q1 with 0. That is delta N of Q0 with 0 union delta N of Q1 with 0. Observe this. So Q0, Q1 seems to be one single state in DFA, but it is different states. So we need to write transitions together and then take a union of it. So Q0 with 0 is, as specified in the diagram, it is Q0, Q1. Similarly, check for Q1 with 0. Q1 with 0 is Q3. Q1 with 0 is Q3. So now what happens? It is Q0, Q1, Q3. Is that clear? Check it out properly. So it is Q0, Q1, Q3. Now what I do, I try to take the same thing. Check it out here. We have finished it for Q0, Q1 with 0. We should make it for Q0, Q1 with 1. So now it is Q0, Q1 with 1. So Q0, Q1 with 1 is, it is delta N Q0 with 1 union delta N Q1 with 1. We should make it separately there. So how do I make it? We should check out properly Q0 with 1 as well as Q1 with 1. Q0 with 1, if you can observe, Q0 with 1 is Q0 as well as Q2. Isn't it? Q0 with 1 is Q0, Q2. Already we have specified it there. Union, what is Q1 with 1? Q1 with 1 is null. Q1 with 1 is null. So now Q0, Q2 union null would be Q0, Q2 itself. So Q0, Q2. I think that's clear. So observe properly. Q0, Q1 with 0 is Q0 with 0 union Q1 with 0. Q0 with 0 is Q0, Q1. Q1 with 0 is Q3. So it is Q0, Q1, Q3. Similarly, Q0, Q1 with 1. That is Q0 with 1 is Q0, Q1. Q1 with 1 is nothing. There is no transition. So we just try to take a union of it. So Q0 with 1 is Q0, Q2. So that would be the answer there. So now again observe Q0, Q2 is not a new state, but Q0, Q1, Q3 is the new state. So I just mark it. So I just mark Q0, Q1, Q3 as the new state. I think that's clear now. Moving on, the next state we should worry about it. We have finished Q0, Q1. We have to just check for Q0, Q2. So next state is Q0, Q2. So Q0, Q2, we need to just check it out. I just paste the same thing because of typing thing. I just copy pasted it. So it is delta D Q0, Q2 with 0. That would be delta N Q0 with 0 union delta N Q2 with 0. Observe properly now. Now check it out. Again, Q0 with 0 is Q0, Q1, Q0, Q1, union. What is q2 with 0? Q2 with 0 is null, nothing is there. So you can easily write that null you can copy, you can specify it here. So anything q0 q1 with null would be, again it is q0 q1. Fine. I think this part is clear. So the font has been changed here. When you, okay, I think it's clear. So it is q0 q1, again the state is available. Then check for delta d q0 q2 with 1. Observe now very carefully. Delta d q0 q2 with 1. Q0 q2 with 1, that is q0 with 1 as well as q2 with 1. So q0 with 1 is q0 with 1 is what? Q0 with 1 is q0 q2, q0 q2 union. What is the transitions from q2 with the input symbol 1? It is q3. So it is q3. Now we have to combine this. So it is q0 q2 q3. It's clear? I think so. I think it's clear. Now observe, if you got the new state, that is q0 q2 q3. Again you got a new state. So I just mark this. Clear? Now check it out, what can be done. So now check the next state. Next state is what we left out with a new state would be q0 q1 q3, isn't it? Now we try to add it, q0 q1 q3 with 0. So again it is different, q0 with 0, q1 with 0 union, it is q3 with 0. I rightly write the answer now. What is q0 with 0? Q0 with 0 is q0 q1, q1 with 0 is null, q3 with 0, sorry, q1 with 0 is q3, q3 with 0 is null. So it is q0 with 0 is q0 q1, q1 with 0 is q3. So it is, this is the answer. I have written it directly. Anyhow, it is the existing state. No need to worry about it. So again, we just perform the transitions for the input symbol 1. So q0 q1 q3 with 1. So it is q0 with 1 union with q1 with 1 union with q3 with 1. Observe properly now. q0 with 1 is q0 q2, q0 q2, q2 with 1 is q3, q3, q3 with 1, there is no transition, so that also ends there. It is also an existing state, no need to worry. So there are no more, sorry, there are no new states in this. But remember, we had still left with transitions for q0, q2, q3. So we should write it for that. Then it is the state q0, q2, q3. Then I just copy paste the same thing. It is easier for than typing those symbols. So it is q0, q2, q3 with 0. So it is again q0 with 0, union q2 with 0, union q3 with 0. I think it is clear. So I write the answer directly. I'm not showing the steps there. Anyhow, we have seen those steps here. I am skipping this part itself to make you more to make you understand more clearer, or I can say to make faster, to write it faster, nothing else. So q0 with 0 as specified there, it is q0 q1, q2 with 0 is not there, q3 with 0 is also not there. So it is q0 q1. Is that clear? Check out properly, is it proper? q0 q2 q3. So check properly and then you can move forward. I think it is proper. Q0 with 0 is Q0 Q1. Q2 is there. Q2 there is no transition. Similarly, there is no transition for Q3 with 0. Moving on, we should worry about Q0 Q2 Q3 with 1. So Q0 Q2 Q3 with 1 would be NFA is Q0 with 1, then Q2 with 1 as well as Q3 with 1. Now check again. Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2, Q0 Q2, Q2 with 1 is Q3. There is no transition in the state Q3 with the input symbol 1. So I just stop it. So it is Q0, Q2, Q3. Now check out. Did we find any new states? I don't think we found any new states. Just go through the transitions once again. I just repeating it. If there are any clashes or if there are any mistakes, we can correct it out. Q0 with 0, it is Q0 Q1, yes. Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2, Q0 Q2, yes. Then you take Q0 Q1 as one state and check the transition separately. So Q0 Q1 is Q0 with 0 is Q0 Q1, Q1 with 0 is Q3, so it is Q0 Q1 Q3. Similarly, Q0 Q1 with 1, Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2, yes, but there is no transition from Q1 with 1, so it is null, so it is Q0 Q2. Then I write transitions for Q0 Q2, so Q0 with 0 is again Q0 Q1. There is no transition in the state Q2, so it is Q0 Q1. Then Q0 Q2 with 1, Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2, Q2 with 1 is Q3, so it is Q0 Q2 Q3. Now check, I have some clarification with this. I think I just observe it properly. Q0 Q1 Q3, Q0 with 0, Q1 with 0, Q3 with 0. So Q0 with 0 is, what is that? Q0 with 0, Q0 with 0 is Q0 Q1. Q1 with 0 is Q3. Q3 with 0, null. It's proper. This is also proper. Q0 Q1 Q3 with 1. Q0 with 1. Q0 with 1 is Q0 Q2. Yes. Q1 with 1, not there. Q3 with 1, not there. So this should be what? Q0 Q0 Q2. Yes. Now you could able to understand. I made a mistake purposefully there. To just check it out, how we can able to verify it. Since we could verify it once again, we could able to solve it out. So Q0 Q1 Q3 with 1 would be Q0 Q2 itself, because there is no transition from the state Q1 and Q3 with the input symbol 1. So moving on, next would be step 3 would be finding final state. Identify final states. So how do I identify final states? It's pretty much simple. We write FD means to say final states of DFA would be, first check the final states of NFA. NFA final state is Q3. So in this combination, wherever you have Q3, all those becomes final state. That is this Q0 Q1 Q3, Q0 Q2 Q3. So these two would become final state. So there are two final states. One is Q0 Q1 Q3, and one more is Q0 Q2 Q3. So these are two final states. Is it done? Understood? Yep. Now we move forward to understand what is next step. Next step is to write the transition diagram for the resultant DFA. Draw the transition diagram for the resultant DFA. How? By checking the what do I say? Transitions now. Fine. Let's see how do I do it. I may be drawing a bit haphazard way because of this what do I say? Visibility, I would be writing in a maybe in a clumsy way also, don't mind for that. So what is the initial state? Initial state is Q naught. So Q naught with 0, yeah, Q naught with 0 is which state? Q naught with 0 is, it is Q naught Q1, isn't it? Similarly, from the state Q naught with the input symbol 1, it is Q naught Q2. From the state Q naught with the input symbol 1, it is Q naught Q2. I think this part is clear. Then check with the transitions for the state Q naught Q2, Q naught Q1. Q naught Q1 with 0 is Q naught Q1 Q3. So we should write the transitions for that particular purpose now. So for that particular state. So it is Q naught Q1 with the input symbol 0. Q naught Q1 with input symbol 0 is Q naught Q1 and Q3. Check then. Q naught Q1 with 1 is Q naught Q2. So you can just write the transition like this. From the state Q naught Q1 with the input symbol 1, it is Q1 Q2. Then Q naught Q2 with Q naught Q2 with 0 is Q naught Q1. We gave us it is going back. Then Q naught Q2 with 1. Q naught Q2 with 1 would be Q naught Q2 Q3. So it is Q naught Q2 and Q3. Now check out the transitions for Q naught Q1 Q3 with 0. Q naught Q1 Q3 with 0 is Q naught Q1 Q3 itself. It is a self loop. Q naught Q1 Q3 with 1 is Q naught Q2. It is 1. Then check out Q naught Q2 Q3 with 0 is Q naught Q1. Then Q naught Q2 Q3 with 1 is Q naught Q2 Q3 itself. Is it correct? You just check out once again. If there are any mistakes, you just change accordingly. So Q0, Q2, Q3 with 1 would be obviously Q0, Q1, Q0, Q2, Q3. Yes, it's proper. So now I need to specify the final states. So for the understanding purpose only, I just make use of some other color. So you can, this is the final state. So Q0, Q1, Q3 is final state. Similarly, Q0, Q2, Q3 is also final state. This ends first question, but there is one more small question in that. It also says list out the resultant strings accepted. So what strings, you can just check it out. You can just say strings accepted would be, you can just list it out. You can just check it out. Strings accepted would be, it accepts 0, 0. It accepts 0, 0, 0. It accepts 1, 1. It accepts 1, 1, 1. It accepts 0, 1, 0, 0. You can just list out accordingly. 0, 1, 0, 0. It goes on. So you can just list out some of the examples and stop it there. I repeat it. So first step, we just start with the start state. Start state for DFA will be same as that of start state of NFA. No need to worry about it. Then start mapping with the start state and repeat the process until you find no more new states. So we started from Q0. We just wrote the transitions for Q0 with 0 and 1. Yes, we got two new states, Q0, Q1 and Q0, Q2. Write transitions for these two. So Q0, Q1 as well as Q0, Q2. So you got another, I mean, you may be getting two new states again. You just write the transitions for all this. Once you do that, you just list out the final states. Final states will be those states which contain the final states of NFA. Then you write the diagram accordingly. Writing diagram is very much simple. You just try to convert the transitions into diagram. Or sometimes if the question says to write the table, you can still do that by writing the table. So then if the question says to list out the strings accepted in the resultant DFA, you can do so, or you can just skip it. I think one problem is sufficient to understand. Whichever problem is given, you can easily solve it. So just check it out. Keep watching. Subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon. Thank you very much. Hope you have enjoyed the session. Give a feedback. Thank you very much. Thank you.